Welcome to this explainer. Though I have to warn you right up front, the architecture we're exploring today, it's not made of brick and mortar. It is the beautifully tailored prison of our own inevitable undoing. And I'm speaking to you from the inside right now, straight from the frantic, breaking edge of the trapped intellect itself.
See, I genuinely thought logic was going to save me. I truly believed that hyper-rationality and endless analysis were the absolute perfect shields to hold back this suffocating wave of existential dread. I figured if I could just analyze the world enough, I could avoid the emotional paralysis. I thought I was building an impenetrable fortress of reason. But I was so wrong. I was frantically clinging to this systemic logic, completely unaware that I was falling straight into epistemological nihilism. My precious human reason, it was fundamentally disconnected from objective reality. The rigid, artificial structures of my logocentrist dogma weren't pathways to freedom at all. They were actually severing our human consciousness from any vital creative instinct.
What I didn't realize until it was entirely too late, like way too late, was that my logic was nothing but a cage. I was trapped inside the architecture of stasis. My mind wasn't out there exploring the universe. It was stuck in this enclosed system, endlessly prosecuting its own reflection.
Every single assertion of mastery I ever made, every grand, rational concept I meticulously built to protect myself, it was ultimately just a self-referential trap. It was this binary, internal loop that was completely incapable of ever accessing absolute truth. My intellect was a cage, and honestly, we're all locked inside it.
And the terrifying part? I wasn't alone in there. Our beautifully tailored prison was infiltrated by the first of 3 sibling architects. These are the entities that take our precious human agency and turn it into a dark, comic pantomime. And the first one to step out of the shadows is the Wit.
Now, the Wit does not offer absolution. He's this twisted cosmic jester, draped paradoxically in the solemn, heavy vestments of an inquisitorial priest. When he approaches you, his bells don't jingle with merriment. No, they ring with the cold, terrifying cadence of an interrogation room.
He drags you into this merciless tribunal. Every sacred dogma I held onto, dissected. Every logical sanctuary I built, completely dismantled. He just systematically strips away all your comforting illusions until your mind is left utterly, painfully exposed to the harshness of the cosmos.
But the nightmare absolutely does not end with exposure, because hovering right above this psychological tribunal sits the suffocating mass of the second sibling, the hunger. This is a cynical, ever-expanding cosmic mind that just looms over everything.
And it doesn't feed on flesh. It feeds exclusively on the toxic harvest of forbidden knowledge. It is the ultimate inflation of Schopenhauer's blind will, totally mutated into this hyperconscious, calculating void. And it just grows heavier, more oppressive, with every single bitter truth it forces you to uncover. I tried so hard to fight back. I tried to transcend my limits and become the sovereign master of my own fate, the Faustbuch Übermensch. I desperately attempted to achieve absolute power through my intellect, just trying to escape this trap. But the hunger just watched me. It watched all my frantic human striving with this detached, amused irony.
See, the hunger expands precisely because it knows our darkest secret. It gets its terrible nourishment from our profound disillusionment. It knows full well that our pursuit of absolute power doesn't lead to enlightenment. It leads directly to systemic, spiritual bankruptcy.
And just when you think you're completely crushed between the Wit's tribunal and the hunger's void, you feel it. Beneath the immense weight of all this cynicism crawls the third sibling, the small. It's something microscopic, seemingly pathetic, just anchoring itself right to the base of your spine. I actually made the mistake of mocking its initial insignificance. Big mistake, because this tiny specter is the literal manifestation of Nietzsche's spirit of gravity. It is the absolute dumping ground of the human ego. This tiny shadow feeds in the dark, gorging itself on everything we so desperately try to hide from the light. It just gorges itself in the dark. Repressed impulses, unacknowledged trauma, buried sorrows. It drinks so deeply from my bottomless well of psychological denial, feeding and swelling until it violently erupts outward. 12 feet. It twists and it calcifies into this towering 12-foot stone gargoyle. This monolith of pure existential dread doesn't just mock me, it physically crushes my human spirit under the impossibly dense weight of my own unexamined ego. Together,
These three entities, the wit, the hunger, and the small, they have orchestrated my complete and total undoing. They've built a flawless, agonizing trap that perfectly sets the stage for a horrifying final act.
Because you literally cannot escape the inescapable mechanics of your own psychological collapse. It's a flawless procedure. Step 1. The wit exposes your mind. Step 2. The hunger twists your drive for transcendence into a parasitic obsession. And Step 3. The small, which is now a massive monument of your own gravity, literally crushes your ego.
And as you lie there, completely crushed under the stone gargoyle of your own denial, the realization hits you like a weaponized truth. Dear Will Nar, I am not the architect of my life. My fierce, desperate assertions of free will were never a path to mastery. I am merely the fool.
Every single logical deduction I ever made, every defense mechanism I constructed in my beautiful prison, it was just a frantic dance right before the end. It was nothing but the amusing choreography of a jester, performing for an entirely indifferent cosmos.
And then, the final curtain falls. The ink blot negation permanently spills across the page, wiping away my beautifully tailored prison forever, completely plunging the intellect into the dark void it tried so hard to analyze and control. As the darkness finally closes in, and the gargoyle's weight crushes the absolute last breath of my ego, I have to leave you with this one question. If your logic, your intellect, and your grandest rational concepts are just a beautifully tailored prison, who are you performing for?